Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Zone 5 Aviation, and I'm going to call this segment the Ready Room, and I'm going to introduce a couple of friends on this channel for a bit of a discussion. Just an initial update on the channel. Not much been going on. I've got a build going on in the background, but the biggest news is that Kits for Kids Project 2023, organised by Sesko and Hemsworth Community Scale Model Club, Mark Andrews, and the Black Rifle Model Works, finally raised their £5,000 target for model kits for sick and disadvantaged kids for Christmas 2023. They actually did a live auction a week ago, and they exceeded £5,500, so more than enough to go to Airfix and get their 500 model kits for the kids. So absolute great achievement for that. Well worth it. And thanks to everyone who donated and organized that. If you contributed anything, absolutely good show, good show. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Edward and Aaron. Known these guys for a while now, so here we go. Welcome, Aaron. Welcome, Aaron, to the show.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. And we'll bring in Edward. How you going, Ed?
Hey, mate. How are you? I'm good.
Good, good,
Congrats
good.
on the $5,000 for the FX Kids. Well worthy cause.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, the live auction went very well. They had somewhere in the region of 90 kits. They needed to average about £30 per kit to achieve their goal, but they actually absolutely smashed it. They did a really good job for that.
Happy kids of Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm sure we know people that have been either in hospital over Christmas or whatever. It's not a nice feeling at all. I'm just going through my list of topics to talk about here. So, Ed, I've known you the longest. Just run down about yourself, how we know each other, and about yourself, how you got into the hobby.
Okay, well, we met through the hobby, obviously, and I believe the way we met was through KiwiModeler.com. Me asking you for some Italeri 148 GR1 Tornado decals.
Right.
And from there on in, our friendship grew.
It did.
You know? Yeah, it did. And yeah, a lot of wheeling and dealing and model making talk between two of us over the years. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm just a hobbyist modeler. I don't have any background in aviation or anything like that, but I do love aircraft and special interest in USAAF 8th Air Force stuff and US Navy and modern RAF. Wanted to be a pilot when I was a kid, but didn't pass the school marks to get there, unfortunately. Plus, we don't have a strike force anymore. So yeah, modeling's just something I do on the side of my day job and my music. So it keeps me out of trouble.
And what would you consider was the point at which you realized you wanted to do this hobby? You know, was there a particular point of interest that got you hooked, or just something you
I started building kits when I was about 10 years old, and my first kit ever was a Hasegawa 172nd F-14A Tomcat. Nice. And I built it in about 2 hours after getting it from Model Air, much to my father's dismay. Wasn't a cheap kit back then either. So yeah, I've built kits right through my childhood, and then I took a break probably from the age of 18 to 22, and then I was doing a lot of gigs and stuff with my band and things. I need something to do on the side apart from doing what musicians do with their free time, so I picked up the hobby again by building 72nd Airfix kits. And so every Saturday after I played gigs on Friday nights, I'd toggle on down to Hobby City down the road and pick up an Airfix kit and spend the weekend doing that between gigs. And then I thought, oh, I actually really enjoy this. So I started getting into 48 scale stuff. And then I got into 32 scale stuff, and the stash grew as it does, and that's where we are today.
Oh, nice, awesome. What about yourself, Aaron? Where did you start with things and that sort of thing?
Yeah, as with most people, I started with my dad when I was probably about 10, same as you, Ed. He was into history and all that. I'm a history teacher, so that's probably actually what my main interest is lately, is getting back into it. Cold War, World War II era, ships, a wee bit, planes mostly, and a few tanks when I need a really easy build. So I got into it. First round was when I was about 10, 11, 12. I remember first kit I remember 3 kits. I was thinking this morning. I remember 3 kits. One was the Matchbox 172nd Wellington with the green and the brown plastic and all that. And one thing I do remember is covering the canopy and windows in glue. And my dream kit, I can't believe I'm saying this now, that I used to see at the top of the shelf in one of the model stores down there was a 172nd Hasegawa B17G. I think it's the bright silver one. Yeah, just in my head, that's still up there. I mean, it was probably only about $30, but couldn't afford it. And then the other one was, I think, 155mm Long Tom, one of those monogram kits. Those are the 3 kits I remember building with Dad. And then I got back into it after a divorce, and was under the house, and I found one of the big kits I'd built, a 1/72nd SR71 Revel, lying there in bits under the house when I was clearing it out. I thought, I might do that. And my son and I started trying to build kits together again. That didn't last long for him, but fatally, that and selling something to Ed Wakeham, life's never been the same afterwards, actually. And really went through that normal thing. I think when you're in I was probably by then in my mid-30s, having money. I had more money than sense and bought a huge number of kits, over 500 kits that I'm slowly selling off on Trade Me. Realised what I want to build now, is quite different to what I started building. And then it's just continued on because, I'm a history teacher. I get to teach Cold War history, World War II history, so it kind of ties in with that. Keeps my interest alive, and really relaxation. I used to have a school band. I used to be a bass player in a band, but that really with young kids becomes untenable. Although Catherine, my partner, put up with quite a lot, it was time to stop about 10 years ago. And I've really enjoyed it as mainly stress release. I must admit, after a tough week at work, trying to avoid the craft beers. I mean, opening up a kit and losing myself for 2 hours is exactly what I probably need to do. I've got a lot of kids. I've got 3 kids, so it's not always able to. Last 2 weeks, I've been on holiday, which has been great. I've been able to just really get back into it in a big way and really enjoyed it. But I met Ed, how long ago? Probably about 14 years ago. And really, I've known
Ed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Of a monogram F18.
That's right. And then only recently with Andrew. So really happy to get something going like this. I think it's really good because we do end up on our own, and like most of the people I've met through scale modeling, selling them kits. So I just thought this is a great opportunity to actually get people in Auckland who we kind of acquaintance on Facebook friends with a lot of people. But it was nice at the model show, as we're going to talk about later, to meet, put faces to Facebook names. Really nice. So it's a really good thing to do.
There does seem to be that common theme with the hobby, that it does seem to bring people together, and we all seem to change our habits over the years in terms of the modeling. We start at one scale and then move to bigger, and then might change subjects. We start on tanks and cars, move to airplanes, or vice versa. So
I can't see 1/72 anymore, hence the glasses.
Yeah, I'm getting like that. 32 scale now.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. So is there, talking about changing habits and things, have you all sort of changed techniques over the years, whether you use different materials, paints, etc.? You changed habits in that sort of era anyway?
Yeah, definitely. When I got back into it when I was about 22, I was the old Humbrol enamel and paintbrush, because that's what I used to do when I was a kid. And then as I got more into the hobby again and my passion for aircraft came back, because, another thing why I got into it is I was going through a bit of a tough time then as well. And like Aaron, you know, you need something to take your mind off things. And as I got better and found myself enjoying the hobby again, got an airbrush, started using acrylics, started going on the hobby pages on Facebook and Googling stuff. And then it becomes an obsession. It's like, why can't my model look like that? You know?
Yeah.
And I find a lot of things is, you know, with the community, communicating with people like you, Andrew and Aaron, tips and tricks from each other, you know? And that's how I've changed from where I started back into the hobby to now, as I take a lot more pride in my presentation of my kits. It's not just like, oh, I finished it, yay, that looks cool. It's like, actually, that looks badass to my standards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's slowing down. I think I hit the 10,000 hour of actual building as opposed to buying about last year, and I noticed with me that's when I started to think, make sure we'll try and get seams done properly, and just slowing down the process, not rushing to get it built. Although I still buy a kit, chop bits off it, sand it down, and then it sits in my stash for, this one, 4 years. And then I finally got it out and tried to finish it. But that's just the way I am. I mean, I'm not ever going to win Telford and have no real desire to win Telford, but I'm really enjoying just slowing down and taking the time and focusing on the basics a lot more now. I think before I thought, get every single weapon on it, every single thing on it. Now it is, does that seem lying? I want to get rid of it. Although I'm a cockpit person, always will be. That's the only area of a kit I'm quite retentive about is cockpits and seatbelts. I just that's my little thing. But so learning to slow down has been the big thing. In terms of paints, those SMS paints have been a game changer for me. They really suit me, although I have to wear a gas mask now. That's what I do. I mean, I'm in a garage. I can spray out, so there's lots of ventilation. It's a big space I don't live in, but still, those SMS acrylic lacquers, because we can't get MMP here, it's been really good. That
was the same issue. Couldn't get hold of MRPs, and no one would ship them or anything, which is surprising. That, you know, no one will ship MRPs, and yet, you know, they're shipping SMS from Australia to here. It doesn't really make sense.
I'm a MIG ammo boy myself.
Yeah.
Love the MIG ammos. Because they come in little packs. They come in little packs of all the colors you need. I'm actually carrying on to the question, though. I found as I've made more models over the years, I do a lot more research into my kits now. Like when it comes to markings and stuff. I'm not a rivet counter, but the one thing I need to get right on my kits is weapon loads and markings. That's the two things which really get me now. And I never used to care about it, but I do. I do. I get really anal about it because it's because I do diorama stuff, you know, and it's like, you know, like to the point the diorama I'm doing now, which is the Memphis Belle on a 20-second mission, I've printed out Saint Nazaire off Google Earth for the diorama base and researched what squadron of Spitfires escorted them out there that day. I mean, that's how anal I'm getting about it now. You know, that's how I've changed since I started.
Use that word. So I said retentive, but yeah.
Oh, anal, man. That's anal.
I mean, I was, but I think for me now with the works, you know, teaching isn't the easiest profession to be in at the moment. At the end of the research, I would watch a video, but I just can't summon the reading and all that for that now. I mean, I'm sure it will change in a few years' time, but for me at the moment, it is just getting them built. That for me, just having so many kits in the stash and they're sitting there, and every time I walk past them, I go, it's been really nice just to try and get them over the line or to a point where. I must say,
your builds are looking really good now. Like they were good back then. They're looking really nice now.
Yeah, but thanks. But it's just that trying to find. I mean, a stash of 400. I think I've got about 400 kits, which sounds like, but you know, every one I bought, I wanted to build, but now those ones I bought 10 years ago, Mirages. I've got like 20 Mirages. There's no way I'm ever going to build Mirages. They were $20, those kits. And this is the other thing. 10 years ago, kits were cheaper. They are not cheap anymore, post-COVID particularly. I mean, look at the price of shipping. I'm just trying to sell the F132nd F117A, which is a big kit, and it hits the top 10. $47 tracked rural South Island.
Man.
Someone buying it, it's $150, which I think, that's far cheaper than retail.
Good price.
It is, but then you put $50 on it, it's $200 kit, and $200 kits are hard to sell.
And on the GS, the New Zealand government insists on putting on things these days.
Yeah. CBNA puts GS.
I want to know where all the monogram F4Cs have gone. Probably in my bin. That's one brand you don't see. That's one brand you don't see these days is monogram. There's hardly any monogram out there anymore.
Yeah, they've been bought.
No, because there's one guy in Tauranga, he's buying them all.
Who's that?
Oh, really?
What's his handle?
I don't think he's on Trade Me. I think he just seems to be buying, as soon as he sees it. Anyway,
Well, if he's got a monogram F4C and 148, let me know.
Well, Ian Barton was after a C47.
Was he?
Yeah, no, he offered me $160 for a 1-48 B57 Hustler, B58 Hustler last night.
I've got a C47.
I know.
In 48th.
I know.
But that's what I was thinking. Next year is the 80th anniversary of D-Day, so maybe we should do a D-Day build as well.
Oh, yeah. I might get one of those Typhoons finally finished.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah. No, I love it. Need the motivation. That's what I'm saying about having something like this and group builds. I'm beginning to realize that's kind of the difference, is actually not feeling pressure as such, but just something else as opposed to, just doing it for yourself. It's actually quite I know we're going to talk about this later, but I'm never going to enter it in a show as such like that, but just having other eyes on does help, it does give you that little kick.
Yeah. So I guess in that vein, then we the three of us were both at this year's Nationals in Auckland. What did we think of it,
Mr. Waken? I can start, but I don't want. Do you want me to go first?
I don't know. I just don't know what to say because I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Andrew can edit it out. For me, it was the first show I went to since I was again about 12 when I bought a 1-48 mono Typhoon that I painted up in camo. And I think about it now, I glossed it and left it glossed. So I took it along to a model show, and they weren't that friendly. I'm a kid. They were making jokes, oh, you're into models. And it was out in Anderson's Bay in Dunedin. this is, 40 years ago. So it's a long time ago in the 80s. So it wasn't me. But I'm not a joiner-inner. I don't join groups. I had Alfa Romeo cars, like 30 of them, about 20 years ago. And I just, anything to do with that club, as I was saying to Ed, you end up with the high-level predator, sociopath, who sets the tone, and they're technically very good. I'm not going to mention names, but we all know who we're talking about in Auckland. And they set a tone, and if you don't fit that tone, it doesn't feel like a friendly place. So for me, that show was really good to go to. Because it broke, I hadn't been to a model show, had no interest in going along to a model show. Catherine had said to me, go along, we'll go out to I think Henderson used to have one, X or something like that.
Model X.
Yeah, and I was going to go to that, but I was just like, nah, but I'm glad I went. It was really interesting. Apart from meeting up with quite a few people, it was, it was quite informative about, I think there is a difference, isn't there? There's those people who's like your friend Niles, who will spend 18 months on a kit. And there was basically nothing wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with that kit. Everything is done properly. It's a great thing. And then I suspect there's people, I think, who make a kit, try and do the best they can, and then have a go. So I think looking at who won awards, they were very familiar names, of people I know,
Maybe.
Well, I don't know. They were good. That Wingnut Wings kit and that Airfix Hellcat, they were nice kit.
So the Hellcat played?
That placed, I think, first and 1-32nd, I think. I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That
well
was,
deserved. That was beautiful.
that was lovely. Yeah. Yeah. So no, I
See,
really like it.
Yeah, my thoughts on the show was I went to the one. When was that one that we went to, Andrew, in Balmoral? Would that have been what, 8 years ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago. I think that would have been when
When
I
you
was.
bought your Ravelli 14 up.
Yeah, I was still with the club. I was the secretary at the time with the Waikato Club.
Yeah. So I went to that one, and I have to admit, the one we went to last weekend, I was underwhelmed by it. I think there wasn't enough subject matter because even though I predominantly build aircraft, I do like looking at sci-fi stuff, and there was some sci-fi stuff there, but it was all Star Wars. There was no Star Trek, there was no Alien, there was no Predator, there was no Terminator, anything like that. And I think the subject matter of the show was a bit lacking. And I mean, hey, good on IPMS for putting on the show. I mean, it's, you know, being model builders and stuff, it's you know, there's a community out there. I just think if you're going to do a show like that, don't do it at a bowling club with shitty lighting, excuse my language, because you can't see anything.
That trader next to Jason, I tried to buy, she was complaining about the lighting. It was shocking.
Yeah. I mean, like I had to
torches and lights on their phone trying to see everything, you know.
Yeah, I had to get right up close to stuff to see detail. And I mean, I don't like going up close to people's kits because you want to, you're just going to break everything. And especially being my size, I'm huge. You know, if I move, my ass is going to hit something and make an aircraft actually fly. You know, but it's like, but the thing is, I walked in there and I got there a bit earlier than you guys, so I scoured the room trying to find bargains, which there wasn't any. But I looked at the kit. I was impressed by 3 kits. There's 3 kits of that that impressed me. It was that Italy F3 Tornado, which I thought was brilliantly done. There was the A4 Skyhawk, which placed.
Yeah, it did. Mike Webb's one. Yeah.
Yeah, and the B1 that your friend Glenn made. Those are the only 3. Oh no, 4 kits, and that Border Lancaster. The Border Lancaster.
Did you see?
Those were my 4 kits, which I went back and looked at numerous times because they're the only thing that took my fancy.
Yeah.
And I mean, we made the point. The 3 of us made the point there. Sorry to cut everyone off, but I'm just going to bring it up. That Tamiya spit next to that Qatari spit, the Tamiya should have won.
I preferred it. Yeah, but that's
totally. I agree with that.
That Qatari spit. I mean, I've got. You know, you guys have heard me say I've got that Hasegawa Mark 1 sitting up there.
But the Qatari isn't. I mean, having halfway through it, it's not. To me, it still is. It's a good kit, but it's not $100 and $200 kit. It's $150. It's like you're saying. It's between the Revel and the Tamiya. I just like the Tamiya kit. I think the spit. Yeah, but hey,
I've bought 3 of them and I've sold 3 of them.
But I'm not a Mark 1 person. I'm not a Mark 1 spit person. I like the Mark basically 5 onwards. I will probably get the Mark 5C if they all because it's got cannons. I like a more brutish Spitfire. I know why people like the Mark 1s. They're clean, agile, beautiful, blah 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 blah.
What's the story behind the Mark 1s as well?
Like an A10. How could you look at like an A10 on what it looks like? You know. It's
A10's the most beautiful aircraft ever.
No, they're not ugly, but they're deadly.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They're like beautiful. I think that's why people are so attracted to the A10 is because it's so ugly that only its mother could love it, but it's the lethality of it. I think.
But they just look so great. A10s look amazing. When they're all loaded up, man, with lantern pods and bombs. Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, that's an interesting thing to talk about, air-to-air versus air-to-ground. That should be another division with modelers, wouldn't it? You know, people the air-to-air people are the Mark 1 spit type people, and I prefer the cannon, you know, like the more ground attack orientated or hurricanes. Like I like a Mark 1 Hurricane, but the 2Cs, Trops, with the big at the front and cannons, even the Type D Trops with those massive. There's something. It is a division that either like that clean, beauty like the F-16. I like the F-16, but never really like it because it's a very clean, small, like a Mark 1 Spit. I'd go for, Tomcat, Hornet more. It's interesting, isn't it?
You strip an F-16 of all its tanks and weapons, and it's just like, it looks tiny. Like it's tiny, and it doesn't possess any kind of, I'm out to kill sort of thing, but
but you load one up. You load one up.
Especially the twin-seaters.
But I mean, speaking of F-16s, how many F-16s were at the show? I mean, this is the thing.
Yeah, isn't it? There was like F4s. I mean, I've sold...
One F4. That was Niles F4. That was the Academy F4.
I've probably sold 20 F4s over the last few years on Trade Me, and they just weren't there. I mean, there was the F4, his one, but I mean, yeah.
I just think the show itself, like, maybe because post-COVID there isn't as many people actively in IPMS now or anything. I mean, I'm not an IPMS member. I never will be. Not my bag. But, I mean, as a show, I mean, the categories, a pig's ear into a silk purse.
Yeah, I think there was I don't know why I asked Glenn, why is your kitten here? Like, there was quite nice
what was the other one?
That one.
Korea, the Forgotten War. I mean, there was hardly any Korean subjects in there.
There wasn't.
What was the other one? There was Out of Box.
Yeah.
And there was diorama. Now, that Spitfire diorama in North Africa, that was lovely. Did you guys see that one?
No, I didn't really get past that first table with the big ones. They were just drawn. So I had a look round. But for me, that anything under one, my eyes, like, I think there's a real, ability to do a very small kit, but it just doesn't float my boat anymore. And Glenn was saying, I was talking to Glenn afterward, messaging him about how it went, and he said, they use the word presence with judging. He used it as in those bigger kits had presence, and I think that the judges possibly were drawn. You look at 100 kits, and one's 5 times the size of anything else. Unless you deliberately don't let that affect you, you probably are going to be drawn more to something that's got more to look at than something big versus the wool. That's human nature, isn't it?
I think the yardstick, really, they should use a 7-year-old kid.
My son.
Kid is always naturally drawn to, you take him into a shop or something, they get naturally drawn to the biggest toy there. That seems to be that kind of I'm not saying everyone's a 7-year-old kid, but that kind of thinking.
Speak for yourself. I'm still a 7-year-old kid when I walk into a model store. We'll buy that one.
I prefer that top shelf one too.
Afterpay.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm at the moment with most of my, because I can manage it. It's like crazy, isn't it? Some of the prices for what I want. I mean, 300 for an artillery tornado. Big.
Yeah.
It's a great.
I don't know, Andrew. You'd be the best one to talk about the artillery tornado. I mean,
I almost bought the ECR off RC Hobbies. They've got it at $250-$60, and they do Afterpay. But still, it's just something in my head goes, nah. You've got the Rebel one, Yeah.
The Rebel one built into a nice. I recently did my one, as you guys know. I recently did my Revell, and it turned out beautiful.
Yeah. So I've got both the GR4 and the ECR artillery tornado.
What's the markings on that one? Like the decent German ones? Like that's the only reason I want it is the
to be honest with you,
grey.
I bought it ages ago. I had one look in the kit, and that's as far as I got. They look nice. The problem with the ECR kit,
harms on them.
Yeah, they got harms, and they were in the GR4.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah. But I got the GR4 kit for $200.
That's
because
very cheap.
I bought it from a guy. This was probably only less than 3 months after it was released, because the guy I bought it from, he'd used it as for a magazine review article or something.
okay.
So the bags were all open, everything was open, but everything was complete with a brand new kit.
Nice.
But I don't know if you've seen it, Aaron. Ed certainly has. My stash of tornado kits is I've got a cupboard behind me, and there's one cupboard to the all tornadoes, all Revell.
I'm a tornado holic.
Yes,
I'm a tornado holic.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Got a tornado.
How many?
Well, that's
How many messages have you had from me, Andrew, going, "Hey, have you got a spare one of these?"
What's your favourite subject, Andrew? Like,
Me?
have you got one over all others?
Yeah, modern US Navy is
just
my
the extra so Hornet or Tomcat.
Tomcat and Super Hornet are my thing, you know. But you know, I build anything, but I do predominantly most of my stash consists of Tomcats, Hornets, and Tornadoes.
Lots of Hazy Gale of Tomcats.
Yeah.
1/48.
Mostly 1/48, but I've got a lot of 72 Super Hornets, you know, just the shelves, you know, all different miles.
Did you get the AMK one? Did you get the AMK Hornet, Tomcat?
I did, yeah. I've got 3 of them. From what I've seen, the instruction, I don't like the instructions on those. They're just too busy. I think a lot of people have reviewed it, said the same. The
thing that's worrying me about, mine is the join. I've fiddled. I've done the nose area, I've done the cockpit, put a Quinta set in that, which is really nice. It looks beautiful, but the point at which you have to insert the nose section to the top fuselage, it doesn't look like it's going to sit. There's going to be a step, and I've tried filing down. I think there's just going to be a step, which is a pain in the rectal. It really is with those kits. Like Tamiya. Tamiya did it. That's a lovely kit. The 48 Tamiya. It's just beautiful. Yeah.
I sold my AMK because there was too many parts.
You sold it to me.
Yeah, I know. Too many parts. Too many parts for me, eh?
Yeah, but I've flogged
too many parts. That's one thing. That's one thing with kits is like I'll buy something. It's like that Ming F4, Andrew, that you got for me. That I sold back to you. I opened it and I was like, one, it was like, it's just another F4. But I looked at the part count and I was like, you know,
the old weasel.
The G, yeah. So Andrew got the G for me.
The decals are pretty naff. Those walkway lines. I mean, I've almost finished mine, and they took a lot to sit down. They're quite thick, almost like Tamiya decals. I should have painted them on, but the option I had was grey with a black thin border, and it was like, you know, as soon as you put tape on, it lifts. But I think if I was doing that again, I'd paint the walkways or choose an option that just didn't have walkways. It's nice.
A lot of the automotive companies are bringing out stencils that have the walkways in, which probably, you know, but you usually spend $25-$30 on another decal set, you know, so it's like, you know, take your pick.
It's like when we're talking about our Eurofighter build, you know, I was like, anyone got decals? Another $10 million to add to a kit. You know, I mean, that's the thing. But I mean, back to the show. Like, I mean, okay, so you walked in, first impression. First impression to me was lackluster. There was only that 124-32 Harrier, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Was there?
And there was a serious lack.
The Revel. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it
serious lack of modern jets.
Yeah.
You know, totally and I think a lot of the builds, like lovely builds, like I mean, it put my building in perspective. Like I'm always saying to Aaron and you Andrew, oh God, man, you know, this doesn't look right, blah 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 blah. But then you go to a show like that, and it's just like, he's got a seam line. Yeah. I can have a seam line. You know,
that's the thing. Whenever you go to a show like that, when the caliber of builds is like here, and then a build next to one that's really good, something like that sticks out, you know, a seam line or a missing detail or something. But then I guess that's down to the judges as to how they look
Well,
I
into
mean,
it.
what are you actually judging on? I mean, like,
I follow
you know,
them around. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
like, what are they actually looking for, the judges, though? You know, I mean,
Content
it's like,
construction. I was thinking about this. Obviously you have an idea of what's a good subject and that. I don't think they're worried about that. I think from what I heard them talk, I was following the chief judge round and they were doing obviously the place winners and all that. And it was things like scratch on there. There's I didn't hear them talk about seams. There was a glue spot there, a paint imperfection there. And they were also looking at the alignment of undercarriage, and does it look straight? That's fine. Like this one here, this Airfix Stuka again, that to me straight, but actually it's probably not. This one here is probably 1/10 of a mil out, and they were looking at that, and they were looking for scratch. I heard scratches, I heard alignment. So it's not what we think, it's like we're thinking, oh, what does it look like? They're not actually looking at it.
this is the problem with the hobby.
I think it has to be, though. How would you otherwise do it? I was thinking like assessment. Okay, I do, being a teacher, I also do assessment. And you have a criteria, and an essay, I do mark essays. An essay can be really well written, but if it's got 5 facts wrong, a spelling mistake, it can't get up there. And I think that's the nature of assessment. If you think, we don't normally think we assess our own models, but it's very, we just do it. Whereas they have to have set criteria that are not subjective, that are worldwide. And if you look at what's happening on IPMS in America at the moment with judging, there's a really interesting thing happened at the last Nats where someone changed a model, flipped them around, a mecha model. One that got second was just overridden by the head judge. Said, nope, that's better. Changed the score sheet, and that won. And that guy was going to be a judge next year, incidentally. And they've had to investigate, apologise, blah, 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 blah. But what
That's that one Dukes was going on about,
Yeah, he stirred it up.
Yeah.
But basically what it came down to was that you have to have totally objective criteria. And the only way you can do that is that, like a car, what colour's better? I know what I like, you like something different. It's mechanically, it has to be a warrant of fitness, which is tick, 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 tick. And I think that's it. I think that's the problem. Once you put your model in for assessment, which is what you're doing, that assessor has criteria. And
I think looking at landing gear angles and stuff, though, landing gear angles and stuff like that, that's just getting a little bit overboard.
Well, that certainly a judge I've heard from many people has a B in their proverbial about that issue. Sloppy.
If it's half a mil,
yeah,
fine. If it's like that,
But
I know, not me. I couldn't even tell. I look at my stuff, but they do.
Yeah.
See, this is what puts me off IPMS. This is what puts me off. Yeah. It's like it's like what you said about your typhoon you put them when you're a kid, Aaron. It's like it's a club.
Yeah,
but clubs, they all band together and stuff. And I think what happens is these guys spend too much time sniffing glue and not enough time out in the sunshine.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if they actually got out a bit and did something other than scraping plastic off bloody sprues and painting shit, they might be a little bit carefree.
Yeah, but are you an actually competitive person? I'm not. I can be competitive.
I'm competitive when it comes to getting to the top of my game and stuff. But I mean,
like golf, isn't it? We're like golf. We play golf. We go out. We're our own biggest enemy. We're our own biggest judge.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I'd ever go to a golf competition. Why? Just better than 10 other people. How many models were there? There are probably about 200 models, say
at least.
I don't know, 100 entries. I don't care. That's
like I was thinking that B17 build I've just been doing, because like my mate Niall was putting kits in there. He put kits in there. He did quite well. And I was thinking, just for a laugh, I'm going to put my B17 diorama in there. That's why I was trying to get it done before the end of September, because I was like, I'm going to put it into the IPMS show. Then Niall said, oh no, you can't enter anything if you're not a member. And I'm like, hey, but it's a model show. And you have all the junior stuff. I was actually more impressed by the junior builder stuff than some of the fucking, excuse my language, sorry, than some of the what do you call it? creme de la crop guys.
I don't think there are many like that, though. I reckon there's 10, probably 10 to 15 modelers there who would have no problems with anything on their kit. Every canopy would be done, and I think, I think there is, like Andrew was saying, there's people up here, and then the gap in between is quite substantial. You've got normal, everyday people who try to do the best they can, as we do. And then there isn't people kind of in between those people who I would imagine spend up to 2 years doing a kit and couldn't sleep at night if that seam remained. I mean, it bugs me, but at the end of the day, but I think that's the difference, isn't it? You've got this massive gap between the OCD, absolutely want to win. I mean, I've won stuff, and I'm sure we all have got stuff in our lives, but they're not on my mantelpiece.
Yeah. I mean, I saw John Darlington running.
You and I are not the target audience for IPMS.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw John Darlington walking around looking at kits. His builds are lovely. They're in Model Air. They're great looking kits.
Oh, yeah, phenomenal.
I would have really liked to have got his point of view on what he thought the builds were like there. Because, I think, John's IPMS.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not your usual guy, though. Like, you'd walk into Model Air and you'd ask him questions about stuff, and he'd be very open about helping you out.
Yeah.
Whereas I find a lot of the guys in IPMS, they think they're better than everyone else. You know what I mean? Like, they have this, like, tall poppy syndrome thing. It's like, oh, you're not a member of the club. You don't know anything about airplanes or model building or anything like that.
It's that,
and it's like
kind of attitude.
It's a snobbery. It is a snobbery, and I don't like it personally. It actually puts me off the hobby.
Yeah.
It puts me off it, because you go there and it's just like, well, why would I bother entering anything into a competition like this if you guys are always going to sit here going, oh, poo. It's like, hey, I've put time and effort into building this. At least give it some credit and say, nice build. Not to my standard, but nice build.
And it's one thing to give a criticism, but it's one thing to back up that criticism with a bit of advice of how to fix it.
Exactly. And they're not open with advice. And you watch all these guys on YouTube, like Spencer Pollard, man. I love that dude. He's like, he stares in his own videos. Whoops, I cocked that up. Yeah. He's a realist.
Yeah.
And I just think some of these judging criteria, it's not real. It's a piece of bloody plastic. Yeah.
It was all these sort of reasons why I gave it up. I was with the Waikato Club for 7 years and did all these IPMS shows, and that's where obviously I met you, Ed, and all these reasons why I gave it up, because I thought, oh, this is what the hobby's going to be like. But now I'm not interested, and so that's why I gave it up and decided, do my own thing and mix up with you guys instead. So
I met the guy Ian Cameron from the Waikato Scale Model Club. I talked to him for a bit. There were quite a few from there. One guy drove his motorhome up, sleeping in that overnight. I think there was
nice.
Brown or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, shall we move on to the next topic then?
I think we could go on about IPMS for hours.
I know we could, but let's not ruffle any more feathers.
I don't mean to offend anyone. I'm just stating my point of view.
So that's why. Okay, so obviously what we've discussed about is a distinct lack of certain subjects at the show. And maybe do we sort to try and maybe fix that? And I guess that's where we started talking about doing a Typhoon build. And what thoughts have we got on that? What do we want to target? What do we want to do? Do we want to participate in a show?
I hate the Rebel 130-second kit already. Jesus. There's going to be a lot of work in it. I mean, I'm glad we got a lot of time. For me, it's going to be something I'll dip into when I probably see someone else start. I mean, I probably should have just stayed with the 1 to 48th, but No, I mean, I've got that kit which I bought off Ed, all that phase hanger stuff. I'm going to use the going to use the intake covers definitely to cover up the intake. I can't be bothered. Apparently, the 32-32nd F105 tanks are the same diameter as the intakes for the 1-32nd Eurofighter, but I just cannot be bothered. I'm going to open up the little grills, put the APU exhaust in, and then use that Aries cockpit. I probably would like to get the Quinta set, but I just like, $100. I don't know if they do it, but that'll be it. And yeah, it's just the markings. I really have an itch to do a Falklands-based one, just because that was the first war I remember. It was about 12. I was 12 when that broke out. But I again meteors don't do a lot for me, and AMRAAMs or whatever they are, carries those missiles don't do a lot. So I'll probably end up doing the same as you, or a similar one. Yeah, with mission markings bombed up and all that. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having something sitting in the background that's no pressure, a lot of time to do. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I've started researching. I've started doing the Ed Google deep dives. I'm doing mine straight out of box.
Move on to another.
Hey?
So you're going to start one scheme and then move on to another, say that?
Pretty much. Hang on, guys, I've cocked this one up. Anyone got these decals? Nah.
Yeah, there's only 6 on the sheet, mate. So those are the best ones you wanted. Those are the best ones. That was the one
that's an 11 squadron, eh? They did Op Elemy, so yeah, I'm doing Op Elemy out of the box. I think the only thing I'll be doing is converting pylons for the inboard pylons for the GPUs, or 8-ways, whatever they are. The first attempt I did, I made them into F4 pylons, not Typhoon pylons. Whoops. But yeah, I'm going to do mine out of box, wheels up, dirty, just like they've been through a firestorm in Syria or whatever it is. And you guys know how I like building my kits. The dirtier, the better.
Grey and dirty.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if we all show up with Eurofighters, I think there'll be a lot of interest in it, because there's a lack of subject in these shows.
Yeah.
I think that's why we chose the Eurofighter as well, wasn't it? Because it's something not many people built.
Yeah, there was nothing there at all. As far as the only modern subject I saw at the show was obviously the F3 Tornado. That's it that comes to mind. There was probably one or two.
A couple of Tomcats.
Yeah, there was a Harrier there, but nothing. Nothing with. There might have been one Rafale there, but nothing exotic like Typhoon. Anything with canards on it. We'll see why.
I was surprised
about it.
I was surprised there wasn't any Tonkers there, except that F3. There was only one F3. I'm surprised there wasn't more Tornadoes and Skyhawks.
Yeah.
Skyhawks, yeah.
Yeah, like I would have thought Aaron's would have Skyhawks been top of the list.
Yeah.
With all the Kahoo sets coming in and
I
everything.
was really surprised that Aaron's Skyhawk took so long to, you still got one up on Trade Me at the minute?
I just put another one up for 60.
Okay. But I'm really surprised that they're not selling, given that Phase Hanger put out the Kahoo upgrade. And,
2 years' time, they'll be worth heaps.
Yeah. Sit on them.
I can't be bothered anymore. I had this plan to make lots of money importing, but it doesn't work. I mean, you make a bit of money, but it's just, I've got a zero coming in. Hopefully Tweety buys.
Yeah.
I mean, so that 32 Skyhawk I'm still working on, which I've been working on for, God, how long have I been working on that for? A year?
Ages.
Yeah. I mean, I bought a 32, which both of you have had. I think Aaron's got it now.
I have.
But I bought all the Kahoo for that and the Ronin decals and stuff like that. And I was just like, I ain't got time for this, man.
Yeah, I know.
Talking of those decals, how long did it take us to get those?
Well, they had floods. They had floods. They had COVID. It's Australian operations like Phase Hanger. Give me time.
Yeah,
You
he's
know?
really getting peeved off with that, isn't he, at the minute? Is it Face Hanger? Or is it...
Face Hanger. His father
Yeah.
passed away, I think, earlier in the year, or I imagine he's reached that point where he just is over it.
Yeah. Oh,
Good, nice bits and pieces.
With emails and messages saying, "Where's my order? Where's my order?" Well, I'm a one-man band. Well, this is what you get.
Crazy, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, the only guy I've ever had trouble with buying resin aftermarket ever is a guy called Jay Laverty, who used to be an editor of a Scale Modder magazine. He's quite infamous for it. He did Mastercasters. I think he still does. That guy, I bought something. He didn't reply. You wait a month or two, just for something to hear. And I'd send him an email because you want to, if you're paying through PayPal, you have to do your dispute. You have to open a dispute to get contact. As soon as PayPal say we're not paying you, they answer you. And he did within a day, getting real shitty, going, you're one of those people who ruin the industry. And it did eventually turn up, and I sent back, and I didn't get money off him, apologized, but he was like, I'm never anything to do with you. He was the only guy I've ever come across, and I've bought a lot of resin from the Ukraine, Italy, everywhere. He was the only guy I've had trouble with. The rest of them are really good guys. They have been really good guys to deal with. But notorious for it. I don't know if you've come across Richie Waldron, who does, he's an Englishman living in America. He does Richie's scale modeling, very similar interest to us, very similar Cold War aircraft. Isn't
he related to that Bobby Waldron who does the YouTube
I don't know.
channel?
Maybe. Yeah. Genesis. Yeah. No, Richie had the same problem with Jay Laverty. He's a big Canadian dude.
Right.
Yeah. Only one I've ever come across trouble with. And I've bought a lot, over the years, hundreds of stuff. Yeah.
Bobby Waldron's Genesis modelling, eh?
He is, yeah, the bald guy.
Yeah. He calls it Hazigawi, not Hazigawa.
He doesn't seem to do much. Hey, I mean, I was following him. I'm a member of Flory. That's the only one I pay for. But even now, I'm starting to think, it's very PM models now. Like every show's selling crap. And it's like, I know you get access to the video builds, but to be honest, I cannot sit through 12 hours of a video build.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I might can that. But it's nice to have someone online you support, because it does make you watch the stuff. And it's,
support Zone 5 Aviation.
What do I get for it? But Flory used to be really good when he had that girl too. But he used to be really good when he had that young girl, and then I think that guy Matt Ball, his offsider who does PM models, kind of pushed her out because he realised that to make money, I mean, there's no way that in that relationship, Phil Flory's the reason people go to watch that show, not Matt Ball.
I remember that.
Yeah,
she wasn't around long. She was around long enough to make an impression.
Nice breath of fresh air, yeah, and very honest. She was starting out mod. You could actually see, and he seemed happy. I must say, he was really happy. I know I think he's married Thursday. I think he just got married. So, his life's moved on from a divorce, but he just was really happy. And since that guy, Matt Ball, is involved, everything's about money, sell, go on the show,
So on the Typhoon, just going back to the Typhoon thing a minute, are we obviously going to do the build and however long that takes, it takes, but are we thinking of targeting a particular show to show up and present possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm keen. I mean, after my little rant about IPMS, I'm sure I'll be welcome to put a Typhoon on the table. But
the IPMS show is in Southland. It's in Southland. It's in Gore or Invercargill next year.
Well, I mean, if we can, here's a call to everyone out there who watches this video: organise a model show. There's only one in the country, and it's run by people who
there are
don't get out in the fresh air enough.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it previously. We're going to think about do Model X first, just see what happens. Because obviously Southland's going to be a no-no for either of us because frankly it costs too much to get down there, and it's crazy.
Model X still going?
Model X in Henderson.
I don't think it's going.
Is it still happening?
Google it, and I couldn't get anything beyond 2021 or something.
I tried to get in touch with someone to find out who the organisers were, and they said they weren't sure. But certainly, if I can get hold of someone, then we just get like 2 or 3 tables, and we just show up.
Table for each model.
Yeah.
I reckon what we should do is we should just form our own modelling club. I reckon we just form our own modelling club. Grumpy old bastards who don't give a shit. You know?
Good point.
That's what they do in England. You can see those shows with like, they're mostly Airfix and Chill. That's what they call a Moz 66510. Yeah. They are Airfix fanboys. Yeah. But they have a nice little gig going on Tuesday nights where the man's models. There's some interesting. I mean, it's interesting to hear the banter, but they do actually. They're not IPMS award winners. They're normal modelers who put kits together and try and do their best. And it's like, I think that it could be done. I'm certainly keen to pick a night at some point once we get more people. It'd be a great thing to do. I think I mean, IPMS meetings are Tuesdays, first Tuesday or something. So I just think it would be nice once a month or once every fortnight to have a get together, go over what we've done for the week. I think there's lots of things that we kind of. I would certainly do the Trade Me wrap up. I mean, the one on the bench, that Aussie show on the bench. It's a podcast. Those Aussie modelers on the bench has this guy coming called the Falcon, who does an update. That's what they call him. And there's a Falcon segment. That could be you, Ed, the Falcon, who does a swoop of what's been released recently, what's coming up for Zealand modelers, which is slightly different because England, Europe, it's all European. I think I mean, I'm keen to that. That's quite helpful sometimes. I mean, Hobby Easy, that where I got my border length from. I mean, there's a lot of modelers here from B&A, Hobby Easy, Lucky Model, and HLJ, the one in Japan. There'd be enough interest to get people talking about, Hasegawa had just re-released the Skyhawk when they did. I don't think a lot of people worked out that one, that those Skyhawks were released 2 months ago, 3 months ago in Japan, and they were good price, that type of thing. I think that would get people talking, because not everyone sits on the internet like we do. There could be something.
I'm happy with this format, if we want to do something like maybe not every month, but every other month or something.
I'm keen to do it. I mean, I just think the hobby in New Zealand needs a rethink.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've done my fair share of trading on Trade Me, and I've actually told people, they ask me questions on my auctions, and I've actually said to people, you are the problem with this hobby. No, I don't hold back. Because I just have no time for it. I have no time for guys going, how's it going to be packaged? Has it got all the original parts? Is everything in the original base? It's like, read the damn description.
I want Big Red to buy something from me.
No name dropping, Aaron.
No,
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's like you just have these guys who are so anally retentive about their kits, and the thing is and this is how I think, is it's like I have no association with these aircraft that I build. I build them for fun, as a hobby, and people just get so about it. It's like, I mean, hey, at the show, Andrew, you and me, we did it. Didn't paint the bloody cannon cover.
Yeah, we spoke. We were talking a while, weren't we, and about his Tomcat, and he was like, oh yeah. Yeah,
but that's not.
Any of the IPMS guys, if you'd have said that to him, he'd have gone, do one. Yeah,
but the thing is, it's like people are so precious about bits of plastic. It boggles me sometimes. It's like the amount of kits I've thrown in the bin because I just can't bother with them. Yeah. Whereas it's like, it just drives me up the bin. It's just like, it's a piece of bloody plastic, man. It's not the be all or end all of the bloody world. There's bigger things out there than you know, whether a Skyhawk has the right antenna under the left wing, you know, or whether the decals are the right shade of black or the right shade of blue. I mean, this Hasegawa Mustang I'm working on has 3 different decal sheets from the same company, and none of the roundels are the same color blue.
Yeah, they're all different.
You know,
yeah.
It's like, who cares? Just put them on, make it look like an airplane, throw it around the room, put some cotton wool with some smoke coming off it. Fun. Make it fun.
So that's
you
know,
IPMS. Some people are not in it for fun; they're in to win. They want to win. They want to win.
Why though? Why? What are you lacking in your life that you have to make yourself look like a giant dork
just competitive
by going your wheel alignments out by 2.22 of a mil?
They want to be the best.
Yeah. So on that note, then, so I guess we've had hints of what everyone's kind of working on, but so Aaron, you're obviously working on the Stuka. What kit scale?
Yeah, Airfix 1 to 48 started about 4 years ago, I think. don't do Nazi swastikas, so it had to be the Condor Legion. Yeah, it's quite a nice kit. That champion scale modeling guy who did it also, I found this morning. Lovely little kit. Nothing really fit issues. Seams aren't too hard to deal with because there's actually only the rear fuselage has got a seam on it. Nice little arrangement here of the tail planes that I've never really done before. This kit for me is first because it's the first German plane I've ever made. And
looks nice.
Warplane. No, I don't think I've done a looking over. I think I've started a few. Only one I'm going to finish. Let's put it that way. Just really quite different little piggies on the
nice
wheelbase. That's quite nice. I've got this in 1 to 24th. I've got the Trumpeter A, which I really would love to do. It's phenomenally impressive kit. The wingspan's almost 80 centimeters. It's a nice kit. I like Stukas. I hate the fact I like them because I'm not into Nazi stuff, but that splinter camouflage, I can't really to do everything in reverse. You can't really see. It's been a lovely, nice, relaxing build. SMS paints all the way, and real life. I painted these grey, actually light grey, not white, which I think helped. Decals, unlike those Canberra ones I was doing last week on the. Wow, that old Airfix, that is abysmal. These were really nice decals, went down well. I've started using white vinegar to make the microsole last a little bit longer, and it's had no impact whatsoever. So I'll now be diluting anything I buy just to make it last longer. The other one that recently finally finished again after 2-3 years was the Tamiya P38.
Very nice.
It is a lovely kit, really. Any mistake on this is I'm just picking the cobwebs off. I don't put my kits in a cabinet. I don't really care if they get dust on them. That's the other thing. Once you build it, I mean, I look at it, but it's kind of done. I'm not saying I throw them out, but I don't have that. some people do a kit and they, like it's a baby. It's not a baby, like we're saying. It's a piece of plastic. But really like this so nicely. I got the other one off you, Andrew, which is going to be another G, and I ended up this is a lovely mojo build. That looks good, man. It really goes wrong. Even twin booms. I still don't know if it's supposed to have. I think it's actually supposed to have a seam down one of the booms. I scrubbed it out, but I think actually like your F190, is it or 190 or 109? It's supposed to have a seam down it, which is counterintuitive. You always try and get rid of seams, but I think these actually did have a seam down here. But look, I'm moving, unfortunately, Ed, towards Tamiya whenever I can, just for my mental state. The other one was the Canberra, the infamous Canberra. I ended up obliterating the wing seam and just respraying it, and actually looking at it, it doesn't look too bad. But this was This was just, I hammered this, and I was so angry with the kit that I ended up putting a different coloured nose on here. So this is going to end up a test meal for everything. Just to give you an idea, I probably can't see, but this decal is completely out of register. And then the last one, torment you with is the Anson, which is not something that I actually really like at all, but I like this geodesic kind of thing, and the Vickers machine guns here. And I'm going to leave, what I'm starting to do, my big thing is to leave engines exposed on these and on the Stuka. The Stuka is going to have an engine exposed just to add a bit of variety to it. Lovely kit, but seams here still not done. And it's my fault really. This seam at the bottom, the classic fit there could be better, but I'm learning that if it's under the kit, it doesn't really matter. So and other thing I'm working on now is to get rid of the absolutely no line here and here, which is harder than, maybe it's just the way I sometimes rush to put the kit together, but really obliterating these. Sand, I actually bought some lovely pack of little sanders from the model show that are really thin multi-grades, 140, 200, 240, that type of thing, and they help just sanding this back. But that's actually, now I must admit, this is the stuff I'm focusing on. There's no seams there because so super glue, starting to use a lot more super glue and talc. That's my big thing. But I added belts to this, but it's a nice kit. It could be a Kiwi one. In the kit there is, in the boxing there is an Australian white one. They were doing trials on it, and it's got white wings, a bit of camo on the top, and the rest is white. And I really like that Coastal Command look. Got a what is it, a Whitley, the FX 1 to 72nd Whitley in those colors. It's really nice. I'd love to do a Liberator in that Coastal Command. I think that Gary who used to run Kiwi Modeler, he's a D24 fan. But just really trying to get things finished finally, and working on seams, not having any seams, which seems strange after 5 years of hard building. Really, I've only really started building properly in the last 5 years. Still working on seams.
That's very good. And you, Ed, obviously on the Mustang.
So what have I been working on lately? Main focus has been the Revell monogram kit bash, Andrew. 48 B17. I'll just go grab her. Hang on. So I've been working on this beast the last couple of weeks. This is supposed to be a quick build. So this is the monogram G with the F nose grafted to it, thanks to Mr. Taylor there. And this has fought me every step of the way. Bombay is open. Scratch built the actuator arms in there. I don't know if you can see. Hang on.
I caught a glimpse of them. Oh,
yeah. Actuator arms are scratch built there. Painted with MIG ammo with Tamiya flat base black as a base coat. But Memphis Belle, like everyone does. Nice little markings there, stuff like that. Happy with the kit. I have this habit of doing, pig's ears. I like a challenge with my builds. So that one's been challenging me the whole way, kiddies. But that's supposed to be
I really hadn't noticed it.
Right?
I hadn't noticed.
But no, that kit was actually supposed to be a quick build. But I got really into it. Like for something, like it was just supposed to be wheels up, Bombay doors open. But then I was thinking, because I really want to get the HK B17F and 48th. But then when you look at the monogram G and you look at the Revell F, you can get out of those two kits for half the price of the HK what you get in the HK. It just takes a little bit of scratch building. So that was the whole point of that kit. What else are we working on? I've been working on a Hasegawa 48 scale F14D for the last 2 years. That's on the shelf of doom. The latest build is Hasegawa 132 Mustang, which I spent most of yesterday on, and we won't go into that. You know what I mean? It's not the easiest kit in the world, kiddies, but it looks like a Mustang, as Aaron said to me earlier. It looks like a Mustang, smells like Hasegawa. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, I ain't gonna win Telford. I'm not gonna win an IPMS show. I do it for fun. I do it for relaxation. The subjects I pick are for me and me only.
Yeah.
You know, and I love 8th Air Force. I love World War II 8th Air Force, and any chance I get to build it. I mean, the latest one I finished was probably the old Monogram 48 scale F14D. I'll grab that off the shelf. Hang on, give me 2 seconds.
Holding.
See that Masters of the Year's got a release date finally. That
I know. I'm looking forward to that so much.
I don't know. The actor who's one of the pilots did Elvis, didn't he? He was Elvis in the recent movie.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of a stretch.
So,
Elvis would be 17.
That was the last finished build, and I like doing dioramas. I call this 10 minutes to Baghdad.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's the Monogram F14. Like I said, pig's ears. But this one I actually concentrated a lot on weathering and stuff. I don't know if you can see that on camera.
No,
But I gave you guys updated photos of this when I was building it, and I actually really like how this turned out. I always find US Navy jets really hard to do, just because all the different shadings of the greys and things like that. Like, because I don't do really.
I suspect you've hit the nail on the head with the subjects at that IPMS. Looking at some of those guys in England who are setting up for Telford, this guy Champion Scale Modelling, the models he's putting in are simple. There is very little to go wrong. There is multitude opportunities there to muck up. Swing wings, pylons, orientation. If you do a tiger moth, say, I know it's probably rigging. You know, you've got the 2 wings, you've got a simple, you can absolutely ensure that there is nothing missing, nothing misaligned. You know, I suspect that's part of it from looking at what he's putting in for Telford. It's a little monoplane, and it's just like, I'm looking at what we've just done. It's like, wow, there's lines everywhere, joins everywhere. Whereas if you do a simple tube with a straight bit off it and a few wheels, your ability to ensure that every single thing is right, kind of like Wingnut Wings.
Goes up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just remember that. Wow. Complex.
Yeah. That was a good build, Ed.
Yeah. This was just a fun build. I mean, I really like how this turned out. It's my really Tomcat. It's my Tomcat. Yeah. You know?
But there's nothing wrong with it. Why would there be? I don't think there'd be anything wrong with it, would there? Like,
there's plenty wrong with it, trust me. But but I mean, the thing is, though, is it's like, you know, I've showed people photos of that kit, and this is what I'm saying. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, like you show people, you know, what brand of kit do you think that is? People think that's a Hasegawa kit. It's not. It's the old Revell Monogram Tomcat. Once again, fought me every step of the way. That nose join is horrible, as everyone knows. But like I say, like if I always say this to people, if you just take time, have a little bit of patience, you can actually make a crap kit look good.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I'm finding with the Hasegawa P51. Like, I've been whinging to you guys all morning about it, but now I've got it sorted. It looks fine. It looks all right. You know,
definitely decent though, isn't it? With those stripes and everything, and you know.
Yeah. So this is going to be olive drab. We've got olive drab, then we've got aluminium, olive drab up here.
You know, you think of how your eyes want to contrast between colours. Whereas I think again that is the issue with a low vis Tomcat that's not heavily weathered. It's all one color, so you begin to see that joint. Whereas if you've got bright yellow over silver, you see. I suspect. I was watching that guy prepare for Telford. He's really interesting. Jason Champion Modelling. He's a good kit builder, and it's like you listen to how he's approaching Telford. It's a deficit thing, no mistakes. It's not make it great. It's don't fuck it up. or so don't screw it up, that type of thing. So it's like you're talking about a different mindset to building, whereas we're thinking, I really love Spanish War decals. The P38 is the one that shot down Yamamoto. Like that's my thoughts. Whereas they're thinking, I have got to make sure this kit has no mistakes, which is not why I'm modeling. Scale modeling.
Yeah, it's subject matter. It's definitely subject matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the bell. You make the bell. Everyone makes the Memphis bell. Like you see the Memphis bell on these bloody builds. Everyone's got 25 bombs on the nose. I've chopped off half the bombs because it did more than just the last mission.
Yeah, because they were all added at different stages. Even the Tomcats during OIF and OEF, they had the mission marks on them, but they were all different at different stages. They didn't all drop all the same bombs at once.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's the thing is, it's like, because I like doing my diorama stuff, I've done the research. The bell flew over St. Nazaire on a 22nd mission, 485 Squadron, the Kiwis escorted them in there. Yeah. They got jumped by BF 109s. God knows if I've got the right 109s for the diorama, but they look like 109G, so who cares? But I mean, it's like I like creating a story with my kits. I don't care if it's got a big seam line down or anything, as long as the story's there with it. That's like that Tomcat I just showed you. 10 minutes to Baghdad. I've done a desert scene for it. Because it's flying over bloody Iraq to go do some damage.
Yeah.
And it's actually the aircraft that did that strafe. The what's it? Speed and Angels. That guy who did that strafing for 213.
Yeah,
that's big markings, So there's a story behind it, and I think that's what's.
I think that's lacking. That needs to be explained more. I think when you don't see it much at these model shows where someone does a build, particularly if they model it at a designated period of time where it's got a certain weapon load or certain markings or mission markings. There's no write-up to explain what that is. Or even the person
or there's a little piece of paper, the scale, brand, and whether it's secure to the base or not.
That's where I was heading with it, is they are not, well, I guess it is. What if you got a judge who knew that and they go, oh, well, that's actually not true on that day. So they end up, it's like a, it's going to end up there, and there is construction, quality of construction, quality of finishing, really in construction. That I guess that is the thinking behind it. The one I don't understand is they talk about GSB. Is that gold, silver, bronze? Is that the other way they can judge, where they give out golds, silver, and bronzes, and then they look at the golds and make a decision? I don't understand how the other way works.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I have no idea how that works at all.
No, I've seen it mentioned GSB. They say we should do GSB modeling. I was just interested in what the other way is. I mean, it's assessment. It's assessment. They're assessing against a criteria, and it doesn't take into account flair.
Yeah.
Beauty.
I mean, you imagine if you're a kid who's, Aaron, you've been in the situation you said earlier when we're talking, you're a kid, you take your kit that you're super proud of to a show.
You get put off.
And you get put off because some old guy comes up to you going, oh, they weren't lost, they were met, Yeah. So I build it, I'm happy with it. Just give me a thumbs up to keep and being a kid who's actually into it, instead of playing computer games.
Yeah.
There's no encouragement with the hobby anymore.
No, it does seem to be lacking.
Well, my son walks past and goes, yeah, that looks cool, and so do my daughters. But I've tried. They've all done a little bit of building actually with some little kits, but it's just not them. I mean, it does take a lot of patience. I mean, we live in, as we know, in a soundbite era where everything's quick and done for you. I mean, I remember playing with Toro, which was like a real Budjo Lego in New Zealand in the 80s. My brother and I used to make like multicolored plastic guns and run around, but we used to do that. Yeah, nowadays you don't. You buy a $5 machine gun from the warehouse that makes noises. There's no imaginative bit, and everything's done for you. Whereas we have to imagine. I hold the Stuka, I think Spain 38. It requires war. Yeah.
I mean, I was at Hobby City recently, and I think it was last school holidays, and there was this young kid there who was there with his mum. Mum didn't know anything about models or anything. This kid just wanted to build an airplane. and they have those airfix starter kits, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I don't know what to get." And I said, "Oh, good on you, mate. You know, you're getting into models and stuff." And he goes, "Oh, if you and me, what would you pick?" And I said, "Well, you know, I said, what are you into?" And he goes, "I like airplanes." And I'm like, "Well, you can do a Harrier GR7, or we can do an F5 Tiger scheme, F5 Tiger, an aggressive scheme one." And he picked the F5 Tiger. I said, "Why'd you pick that?" And he goes, "Because it looks cool." And I'm like,
Cool.
"Damn straight, it looks cool." Because when you're a kid, it ain't about what the kit is inside; it's what's on the box, you know. And I remember my first, I said my first kit when I was a kid, 72nd Hasegawa Tomcat. It had the sundowners, that classic box art with the wings swept back with the sundowners on it. I was like, "That looks cool, man." And I just watched Top Gun, but I was just like, "That looks cool. I want that one." But then I found it had the Jolly Rogers in it, and I was like, "Jolly Rogers looks way cooler," you know. But that's the thing. It's like this kid was just like, "It looks cooler than that one because it's got colors on it." And I'm like, "Okay, we used to go off that one."
Color.
Yeah, because the GR7, even in the starter kit's just a operation operatic one.
Yeah.
All grey, boring. So he picked the F5 Tiger. And I was like, I said to his mum, I said, "Good on you for getting him into the hobby." She goes, "I just want him to get off the bloody computer games." And he was stoked that he got this F5 Tiger.
That's another incentive, isn't it? Get them off the computer and doing something constructive.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the whole history thing behind it as well. I mean, my passion for World War II and Vietnam and Iraq and all that sort of stuff stems from model building. It's like, even going back to ancient Greece, ancient Rome and stuff like that, like I see, 1/16 figures of Vikings and stuff like, "Oh, they'll look cool," and it's just like, "Oh, but I never have time to paint a figure." No, bugger that. But, it's like, your quest for knowledge comes from the hobby as well. It's like, like we're saying, you build a diorama, it's like what Aaron said, Stuka, 1938 Spain. Oh, let's read up about that. What actually happened. It makes you engage and learn stuff.
As much part of the build as it is building the model itself.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I love about Aaron's builds, especially, is every time Aaron starts something, he's like, "Oh, it's been in this squadron, it was in this campaign, blah, blah, blah." And you get the whole rundown from Aaron about what he's going to build. And it's like, actually, I'm going to check that out, man. That sounds pretty cool. Hey?
Not me.
No, it was you. You did it.
I thought it was Andrew.
It's like, I'm going to check that out. That looks awesome.
Well, so for me, that was my dad. When I was living in Dunedin, before we moved up here, when I was about 15. When I was about 12, 13, 14, my dad used to buy War and Peace, which was like one of those part series, like illustrated aircraft. Every fortnight you get an update issue, and it was about post-World War II conflicts. And I think that's why I started out Cold War, I did. Most of my first 100 were all Century series. I bought them all, sold them all now. But it was that interest in the Falklands and wars in the Middle East, particularly. That was sparked by, my father buying me something about the history, and then then being a history teacher is just worse. But there's a tyranny in it. Sometimes it would be nice. It really would. I just think looking at the kits just to put them together and just put something on it that's like bright orange. That's why I like those Sky Raiders. And I think, Andrew, you were doing something with orange on it, international orange. It's just nice to do something bright and loud, as opposed to olive drab, silver, your standard black and white colors. I'm looking at, they've got actually I don't even know what, a Raiden, a Jack, 1 to 32nd Japanese Raiden or Jack interceptor, and it's bright orange. It's the training version. It was cheaper than the combat version. Most people want the combat one, but Hasegawa do a training version, and it's got that it's a yellowy orange actually, and that's the kit anyone looks at because it's bright orange. It's sitting next to a Zero and sitting next to that Warhawk that I did, and it's like the orange is the one you look at because that's
A few years ago, I did a Gloucester Meteor grey on top, and then underneath, because it was a target tow aircraft, it had the black and yellow stripes underneath it.
Yeah,
and
So I remember that build. That was a nice build.
Yeah, and the orange.
I've got a Defiant in those colours. Classic airframes Defiant, and it's like that. I think I'm going to do it in that colour just because the Defiant's pretty fugly, but it's that orange actually, it's something different, just a little bit different. Yeah.
Hey guys, we're running up on an hour and 25 minutes at the moment, which is
Oh,
good.
we've still got so much to talk about though.
Well, we could be doing some more videos out of this, but I just thought we'd probably finish up now and just talk about we got any new kits that we've bought probably in the last month or so.
I've been forbidden from buying anything lately. No, actually, I bought two kits. I bought a Tamiya 148 scale F4U Corsair and an Academy P40N with, I bought Ventura decals for both of them in RNZF colours.
Nice.
Yeah, so I did have them in 32, but space requirements and the missus getting on my case about things required 148s instead. But happy with it, you know. What else is new? I got the Revell Mark 9 Spitfire the other day from Mr. Models. Nothing else new except the Eurofighter that Aaron kindly donated to me for the group build. That's about it. I haven't really been buying anything because Leanne won't let me.
That's a good reason.
Anymore.
You're saving up for your trip. You're saving up for your overseas trip, though, aren't you?
Well, yeah, we've got New Caledonia coming up as well. But the thing is, I'm at the point with my stash where I've got everything I want to build. I don't need anything else until I run out of stuff to build. You know?
Until I try to sell you something else.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was going to see if you wanted anything. But no, I've got my stash is manageable at the moment, and the only things I've really bought is the Revell Mark 9 and the Corsair and P40.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What about you,
Aaron? Tried to be restrained, but there's been a few 1 to 30 I'm trying to now only buy as much as possible 1 to 30 seconds. So I got another Sufa, which I needed to sell, and I needed the money, so I got another one of those back, and got a single seat SU-25A Frogfoot, which has been a kit's been really hard to get. But that guy Imagine on Trade Me put one up, so I scooped up that, and just ordered after I'm halfway through ICM. I meant to say something. Those B-26, they are great kits. I've just nice, almost a weekend build as much as you can, and so I like going to do a all black Korean Invader one with rockets, Havars on the wings, during the Korean War. And then I liked it so much that I bought the A26C from that Hobby Direct guy on Trade Me, the one who does from Aussie. Yeah, really good prices. Nice. So he does have good prices. I just sell more than I buy, but I go through phases where I'll whack heaps on. The thing with Trade Me though that I found out was that if you sell too much, they want to put you in trade. They want to say you're a second-hand trader. So that's how I had to close my last account down and start a new one. It's really annoying. I think if you over 3 months doing a few thousand every month, which sounds a lot of money, they classify you as a second-hand trader. They're required to by IRD. So I closed that account because I don't really want IRD sniffing around. It's all. I'm not a second-hand trader. I have kits. I buy them and I sell them. I mean, I don't. Yeah, but anyway, yes, I tried to, and I got the Tamiya F35 Lightning A, and I will probably get the B when it comes out. And not reading the instructions properly before I started building, I put the Norwegian only drag chute pack on the spine of the F35, which is the only.
Norwegians always actually different.
They need a drag chute to slow their jets down because their runways are so short. And I was going to do an Israeli or American one. And then I got in and I thought, hang on, what have I done? And because I glued it, I got it off. But because, once again, the zigzag ram stuff is so complex, I can't restore it. So I'm now doing the Norwegian one, which is quite cool, actually. It's very different. Most people do American or Israeli. So I'm doing the Norwegian version of the F-35A, which I know nothing about. but they're all pretty much the same, to be honest. I wish I'd done the Danish one, because in the model, it's the only one with coloured decals. It's got a red and white one, whereas everything else is low vis. So, I mean, I could make it up as no one would know, but I'd know. And every time I looked at that goddamn drag chute, and it's different, it's slightly different. So, yeah, I've been trying to paint the Bombays, which are driving me crazy. They are all white.
Hammy will do it. F-35C.
Sorry?
I'm holding out that Tammy are going to do an F-35C. They probably won't.
Well, imagine if they've done the B, they'll do the C. Yeah.
F-35.
The C's about 20% bigger in wing area, so they'd need to do a whole new mold for it.
For the C?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Trumpet has put out a 32 F-35C and 132.
They B first.
Hey?
Bloody expensive.
Yeah.
They're $200-300 kits. Those big ones.
Trumpet or Hobby Box? Either one.
No,
Trumpet or Hobby Box. What's Trumpet?
I don't like it. I don't like the kit that man. That 1-48 boxing is beautiful. It is just, I mean, I could get around it by just not worrying about it because it's going to be full of missiles. So I'm thinking, hang on, why am I really worrying about this? Because it's going to have a GBU 38 and an AMRAAM, and you're not going to see much. But yeah. Anyway, yeah,
nice.
You know it's there.
I know.
I picked up the MQ8 from Jason at the show.
Yes. Yeah.
What's that?
I've already got the one with the twin kit in it, but I wanted the one with the wing fold in it. So
you reckon he did much trade there? Do you reckon he sold much?
You reckon he had a pretty good day on the Saturday because he was heading back and he was restocking for the Sunday show. But he said he reckoned he pulled in a couple of grand at least, you know.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Yeah, so enough to keep him happy. Jason's a good guy. I'd trade with him.
He is, yeah. It's really good.
And he apparently his distributor or his seller is that HT Direct.
Oh, that's right. I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. He said something about that. But yeah. So
I never realised.
Go on.
No, frontline hobbies. I mean, we all buy from B&A, but frontline hobbies will sell to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've bought from them.
never heard of them before, except someone mentioned. I think it was that guy who does the Oz scale modelling, who did that massive Pete, who did that 1 to 200 Yamato build. He buys from Frontline, and I'd never heard of them before. Actually, went on they sell. And it was $13 for a 1 to 48 kit to New Zealand in Aussie, but Aussie dollars basically 90 anyway. So $15 postage, same as to Auckland to Hamilton almost. It's the same postage across the Tasman than to Wellington. Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're on an hour and a half there. It's been a good chat. So just for the purpose of this recording, is there anything else that we want to talk about?
Well, the only thing I thought is do we all know one other person we could get to come along and expand it, or do we just want to keep it like this?
I reckon just keep the three of us at this stage.
Yeah.
There's
no one I
just
know.
Because, I mean,
well, the only other one was Andrew Hammond, that guy who's very down to earth. He's not a rivet counter. He's into 1 to 32nd planes and tanks only. He was the guy who I think I introduced to both of you at the show. Yeah. He's a good guy, and he tried to get a community thing going a year or two back, and it didn't work. That was the other person I was. But hey, I'd like to do it again. I think there's a lot to talk about, and we haven't talked about paint. We could talk about paint for a while.
Yeah, I'm happy just to have a yarn. I look forward to seeing the edited version of this, and there's another rant.
It won't be much that way. It won't be much different. There's some good content. So
but no, I reckon keep it how it is. It's good.
Month. We each bring a kit. Like I think that idea of next time I will actually set up properly and actually have. I've got other I'm in the middle of a Mozzie, a Tamiya, the big Mozzie. It'd be quite nice to actually break down what we're doing and what we've found. I think that could be a nice thing. And kit purchases. Yeah.
We could do that.
I'm interested in what. Well, the other thing would be getting a guest in. That might be a nice way of doing it. There's someone like we've all got friends, we could get in for 20 minutes just to talk about stuff, and then kind of like the original model. I like just read Glenn.
I could get Mark on, talk about his Mustang factory, you know.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I'd be interested to see, like Glenn's a nice guy to talk about his build. We could feature his build. You know, he could actually, that would be quite nice. You know, what he's done, what he's found good, bad. I mean, I'm interested in finding that out. But it would have to be people of a like mind.
Yeah.
No sergeant majors.
Yeah, no sergeant.
I wasn't going to go there, Eduardo.
Huh?
I wasn't going to go there, but you just want people who just like-minded.
I encoded that one, but everyone knew what I was talking about.
That was pretty obvious. Hey, Jonathan Squires. I was just thinking, we've both dealt with him. The guy at the Hasegawas in the Meadowbank. He's a good builder. He'd
be good to talk to. Actually, he'd be really cool to talk to.
I mean, I could, even if he couldn't do it live, I could go and film him. That's the other thing. You can go to someone's place and say you've got a bit of film. But it'd be nice to get someone like that on who's had a lot of experience and has been burned. And I'm sure there's another person in the Waikato.
Actually, he'd be cool. He'd be really cool to talk to. Actually, he makes nice kits.
That Lancaster, that Tamiya Lancaster, holy hell, the detail in it.
Well, the one he did.
Yeah, I mean, when I bought a few bits from him, I know he's not well though. I think he has an autoimmune disease.
Yeah,
something had kicked in when I last saw him a year ago.
Yeah. Does make his skyhooks are lovely.
Before we start raging on, we'll just close this out then, and then once I stop recording, we can still chat if you want to. So to everyone at home, wherever you are in the rest of the world, thanks for watching. I know this has been a long video, but it's something just different for the channel, and hope you enjoy it. And feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and we'll maybe try and make this a regular thing. But thanks very much for watching, and take care. Bye now.
Thanks for having us, Andrew. Thanks for having us in the Ready Room.
You're right. Welcome. Okay, bye.
Catch you later, bro.